Hello everyone. I'm back again with calculus part E. دي الباي بتاعت الفيديو اللي قبل كده. ماشي. وهلو مش باي. I'm back with the part 3 calculus. تمام كده. Part 3 calculus and this shouldn't be يعني a long video. Calculus. This is calculus part 3. Okay, and what are we discussing in calculus part 3? Now, if you remember, if you have watched part 1, then in part 1, we discussed how to differentiate cases A, B, C وقلت لكم في فيديو part 1 لسه ناقص case number D. فاحنا اخدنا case A اللي هي دي 3x مثلا power 2 plus 8x minus 7 وطبعا خلاص the dy by dx over here is 6x plus 8. This is case A, this is case B, and this is case C. What is بقى case D? Case D is questions in which your x is a denominator. Your x is a denominator. تمام كده؟ So let me just write the cases كده هنا كلها على بعضها. This is case A وبعدين عندنا case B وبعدين عندنا case C. The new today is case D. The new today is case D. تمام؟ case A اللي هي y equals مثلا قلنا x power 4 فطبعا هنا دي actually مش هقعد اكتب بقى كده examples هكتب بس بنعمل ايه قلنا لو x الباور بتاعها مش 1 هنزل اضرب minus 1 قلنا لو x الباور بتاعها is 1 your differentiation is remove the x for constant values your differentiation is equal to 0. And what is the last case? The last case اللي هي لو ال x is a denominator. If my x is a denominator. If the x is a denominator, then what do I do in this case? If the x is a denominator, then what do I do in this case? So let me give you an example of case D. يجي يقول لي مثلا y equals 3 over x. And طبعا the question says find dy by dx. I cannot differentiate طول ما الx تحت بالشكل ده. فأنا in order for me to differentiate, I must fix this problem that I have over here. How do I fix this problem? موضوع سهل جدا جدا جدا. كل اللي أنا هعمله إن أنا I will take this x and throw it up next to the 3. Actually مش هعملها من الناحية دي عشان ما تكتبوهاش قبلها من هنا كده. Okay. هاخد الاكس واطلعها فوق فزي ما اتفقنا الايكويشن دي محتاجه شويه تظبيط. I just need to fix it first before I differentiate. So how do I fix it? طبعا the 3 remains as it is. Now since the x is a denominator, then the power of x in the denominator is positive 1. All that I'm going to do is that I will move the x up to the numerator. And as a result of this shift, what happens to the power of x? إنه it changes from positive 1 into negative 1. بس كده هطلعها فوق فالباور بتاعها هيبقى negative. And then what do I do? يبقى احنا هنا هنقول move ال x up. وطبعا after I move the x up, what happens? I change the sign of the power. The sign of the power changes. And then I apply case 1. Case A. And then I apply case A. اللي هي ايه بقى case A؟ انزل اضرب minus 1 خلاص. So negative 1 times 3 minus 1. So your differentiation is negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. طبعا you must write the letter minus 1 is a negative 2. بس كده. If you wish to change back to positive يعني لو انتوا حاسين ان انتوا you want to change it back to positive يعني you can do that. طبعا negative 3 remains as it is. This is over 1. لو عايزين ترجعوها positive تاني نزلوها تحت فهتبقى كده. So again, one more example. Let's assume I have حاجة زي كده مثلا 4 over x to the power of 2. And the question says find dy by dx. Before I differentiate, all I need to do إن أنا أخد دي أطلعها فوق. فهيبقى الأول y equals 4x to the power of negative 2. And then قلنا I differentiate using case A اللي هي أنزل أضرب minus 1 هاخد دي times وأنقص بواحد. So negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 x to the power of a negative 3. That's it. بس هنحل 2 questions related to this case. and then we'll move on to part 4. Okay, so we will refer to the notes. Let me just show you first where is it in the notes. اهي فين الشرح بتاعها يعني في النوتس. In your notes, page number 307. In your notes, page number 307. This is the part اهو related to what we explained. This is the part related to what we explained اللي هو if the x is a denominator, then what do I do? Okay, now since we are in the notes, let's check بقى a question related to this part. هنحل سؤالين بالظبط على الx تحت بنعمل فيها ايه، لانه we are going to discuss بقى بعد كده بعمل ايه علشان I solve. So let's look at this question over here. This is in your notes, page number 311. This is in your notes, page 311. بيقول لي a curve has equation كذا. The curve has one turning point. Now يا جماعة بقى we're going to combine all of the information together. The curve has one turning point. So the turning points, questions بقى خلاص, if you remember, only differentiation equals 0. Find x and then find y by substituting in the original equation. Find dy by dx. And then use your answer to find the coordinates of the turning point. Now, since the question says find the coordinates of the turning point, فأنا لازم أطلع ال x ولازم أطلع ال y. Let's take it one step at a time. Please, 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 before you differentiate, make sure إنه مفيش x تحت. Before you differentiate, make sure إنه مفيش x تحت. تمام؟ فأنا لا هنا عندي مشكلة أهي. This over here. زي ما انتوا شايفين the x is a denominator. ويا ريت بلاش الفلزلكة ونعمل 2 steps in one. اعملها في دماغي. ليه يا حبيبي تعملها في دماغك؟ بلاش. عشان انا الحاجات دي بشوفها في المدرسة والعيال بتغلط. بلاش. Okay? ف let's do it one step at a time. First, fix your equation. ظبطوها. Okay? And rewrite it. بلاش اعملها في دماغي دي والنبي. The first term will remain as it is because I'm going actually to label it with faces. This is a happy face term because the x فوق عادي ما عنديش فيها مشكلة. And this is an annoying face term. Why? Because as you can see, the x is a denominator. طيب, what do I do بقى in this case? قلنا اديها بالشلوت طلعها فوق. تمام؟ فلما هنعمل كده الباور بتاعها هيقلب from positive 1 into negative 1. That's it. Okay? So this is the first step اللي هي step بتاعت التظبيط اللي هي move the x up and then differentiate using the cases بقى that we discussed بقى so many times. dy by dx equals to, now here هنزل أضرب minus 1 so it's 8x. وطبعا please remember that there is an invisible coefficient over here which is positive 1. Your differentiation is أنزل أضرب minus 1. So negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. X to the power of minus 1 is a minus 2. So this is your differentiation over here. لأن زي ما اتفقنا يا جماعة the only difference in this part إنه أنا I just move the x up and then بنزل بضرب minus 1. Okay, find dy by dx. We solved this part over here. أهو. And use your answer to find the coordinates of the turning points. And I already know the conditions of the turning point and I know what to do. My differentiation is going to be equals to 0. طب إيه بقى الحوسة دي؟ إحنا we discussed how to solve linear equations اللي هم power 1. We discussed how to solve quadratic equations اللي هم power 2. بس we did not discuss what to do if the powers are negative. طيب if the powers are negative في 70 مليون ألف طريقة للحل. أنا صراحة بحب الطريقة دي. أوكي؟ بس مش معناه إن الطرق التانية غلط. What do I do if I have a power negative for the x and I am required to solve this equation over here? اوكي طبعا في ناس تقول لك اضربه باكس باور 2 واعكس الساين. انا يعني جميله صح ما اعرفش انا بس بخاف منها شويه. طيب what will I do is that I will change it into positive power first. I will change into positive power first. طبعا this could be written over 1. 8x هتنزل زي ما هي. الماينس زي ما هي. ال1 زي ما هو. هديها بالشلوت انزلها تحت. فلما هتنزل تحت هتبقى x squared equals to what? 0. يبقى change back to positive power and then since يعني أنا بستعمل الكونسبت بتاع اللي مش عاجبك اضربه ده I will apply my concept over here. احنا اتفقنا إنه when الناس اللي شغاله معايا على طول وعارفين طريقتي دايما بقول لكم ايه اللي مش عاجبك خبيه او اتصرف فيه او اضربه. واضربه دي بتبقى في الايكويشنز. and what do I mean by اضربه؟ يعني multiply. So change back to positive power, then multiply the whole thing by x squared. Multiply the whole thing by x squared. اشمعنى x squared؟ لأن I need to eliminate this term from this denominator. So I multiply every item by x squared. 8x times x power 2 is 8x power 3. Minus multiplying the blue with the fraction. طبعا these will be cancelled together, so just the one remains. وبعد كده طبعا you multiply every part of the equation. x power 2 times 0 of course is what? 0. فطبعا دلوقتي as you can see this has changed into a very very nice equation. Now the steps بقى خلاص بعد كده في هنا دي زيادة. Okay, نكتبها بس مظبوط. Negative 1 equals to 0. طبعا how do I find the x? I will move the 1 to the other side and then I will move the 8 by division and then of course I cubic root. Basic بقى يا جماعة solving. So step number 5 will be the final answer of x which is equal to a 2 half. تمام؟ وبعد كده since the question says find the coordinates of the turning point, what will I do next is that I will substitute my x in the original equation. I will substitute my x in the original equation. فهتبقى y equals 4 times half squared plus 1 over half. Plus 1 over half. And then I just place it on the calculator على طول. 4 times half squared plus 1 over half. هتطلع لي الإجابة 3. So the final answer will be an order pair with an x coordinate of half and a y coordinate of 3. And this is a question related to when the x is a denominator, what do I do? When the x is a denominator, what do I do? I'm going to solve another question related to this part, but this question is in classified part 3. Classified part 3. Classified part 3, page 215 as you can see. هنا بيقول لي a curve has equation y equals كذا. The curve has one turning point. Find dy by dx and use your answer to find the coordinates of the turning point. Almost same question. Now, as we said, first I will move this up, and as a result of moving the x up next to the 16, what happens to the power of x is that it changes from positive 1 into negative 1. You can actually pause this video, solve this question, and then resume the video to see if your answer is correct. Step number 2 is dy by dx. خلاص بقى we apply the differentiation. Multiply, subtract 1. نفس الكلام. Multiply, subtract 1. Negative 1 times 16 is negative 16. X to the power of minus 1 is a negative 2. Use your answer to find the coordinates of the turning point. As said so many times, when question is related to turning points, you equate it to 0. What do I do in questions with negative powers? I change to positive powers, and then I apply اللي مش عاجبك اضربه. اللي مش عاجبك اضربه. وطبعا يا جماعة بأكد إنه اللي مش عاجبك اضربه دي بتنفع في الإيكويشنز وفي مسائل الفراكشنز. تمام؟ فأنا step number 3 I will change this into positive power again. So 2x remains as it is. الماينس زي ما هي. 16 زي ما هي. over هنزل دي تحت فهتبقى x squared equals to 0. And then what I don't like is then this equation over here is x squared. So what I do, multiply the whole thing by x power a pi power 2. And then the result of the multiplication is 2x times x squared is 2x power 3 minus x power 2 multiplied by the fraction. The numerator only remains اللي هي 16. وطبعا x power 2 times 0 is 0. Divide by 2 أو مش محتاجة بقى هنا خلاص يعني زي ما انتوا عايزين بقى. أنا I'm going to find the x in one step. I will move the 16 and then I will divide by 2. ده قصدي بقى in one step, and then I will cubic root. أنا بعملها كده على طول. And actually if you do it like this in the exams, you will get the final answer. So طبعا 16 over 2 is 8. Cubic root of 8 is كام? 2. I have the x coordinate. Since it says coordinate, يبقى I must find y. And as we said so many times, to find the value of y, I substitute in the original equation over here. So y equals 2 squared plus 16 على 2. تطلع كام دي? 2 power 2 is 4. 4 plus 8, which is 12. And please, يا جماعة, remember that this is all you're working out. You must write your final answer. What is your final answer? Your final answer is an order pair with the calculated x value and the calculated y value. تمام كده? And this is the end of part 3. Calculus, اللي هو when the x is a denominator, which was case number D, and how do I solve questions with negative powers. I think we have 2 more videos related to calculus. Inshallah, I will try and do them today as well. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.